And we are lucky enough now to be joined by NASCAR's Kevin Harvick. Big fan of the Atlanta Motor Speedway and big fan of Augusta, Georgia, for reasons we will get to in a minute. Kevin, we appreciate the time. We want to jump right in. We're going to get to Atlanta, but first of all, I was at the Daytona 500, my first time going to that race in person last weekend, and towards the end, just total chaos. What's it like for a driver to be in the midst of all that, and despite your best efforts, some things may just be out of your control?
Well, most of the time they are out of your control, and that was definitely the case for us at the end of the race. From a driver's standpoint, it's a little bit frustrating because you know the chaos is coming, and you want to position yourself as far forward as you can. I think I was running 4th or 5th at the time, and that wasn't far enough forward because we wound up in a wreck and tore up at the end of the race. But super speedway racing, there's definitely some luck that goes along with missing the crashes. And you know, for us over the past couple of years, we haven't had a lot of that. We've been in a few of them. So on the flip side of that, everybody did a great job with our new Ford Mustang, and we had Busch Beer on board this weekend with their car to cam program, and that was a lot of fun to see that activation be put on the racetrack. So won the qualifying race there on Thursday and crashed on Sunday. So now we're ready to get to Atlanta and start the grind of the real season.
And Atlanta's a track that means a lot to you for a lot of reasons. Your first Cup win back there in 2001, and it came on the heels of replacing the biggest name that NASCAR's ever seen, and you had a great tribute to him when you won that. You know, take us back through that win and that emotional day for you at Atlanta.
Yeah, you know, so 2001 for me was obviously a huge change direction in life. You know, obviously Dale dying at the Daytona 500 and stepping into that car was for me at the time 25 years old, not really understanding exactly what you were getting into and how to handle those types of situations. But under the circumstances and you know, obviously being a driver at RCR and being asked to drive the car was something of a necessity, I guess you could say, just because of the fact you had so many employees and so many mouths to feed that the car needed to stay on the racetrack. And you know, fortunately we were able to have some success, and Atlanta Motor Speedway was definitely the first place of that success, and it came in pretty dramatic fashion, you know, beating Jeff Gordon by a few inches back to the start-finish line and getting that first career win. So you know, for me, rolling into Atlanta every year is pretty special to be able to think about those memories and think back to everything that was happening in life at that particular time. I just been married the week before, and you know, driving in the Cup Series. Actually had just signed America Online as our first sponsor, and that was supposed to be my first weekend in the car running my very first race. So a lot of things happening, and definitely brings back a lot of memories when we roll into Atlanta every year.
And last year, you guys rolled deep in the Fords. 1, 2, 3 finish at that track. The Fords, we saw a lot of them trying to link up last week at Daytona. Is that sort of the strategy here at a place like Atlanta, where we know that track is still not repaved? It's the oldest, and you guys seem to like it. You know, you can seem to run from the bottom to the top with all those grooves. Is that sort of an approach you guys might take this weekend as well?
Well, Atlanta Motor Speedway is definitely one of the drivers' favorites just because of the age of the surface and how you can move all over the racetrack. So, you know, as drivers, we definitely would not like to see Atlanta Motor Speedway paved because it adds unique challenges that we don't get to experience a lot throughout the NASCAR schedule. So, going to Atlanta, you know, as a driver, that if you find a line or you know, handling in your car that's, you know, a little bit different than everybody else's, you can make a difference, and you can move around the racetrack. You can run up against the wall, you can run in the middle, you can run at the bottom, and you know the tires are going to wear out and the lap time is going to fall off. So it's a very challenging racetrack, and you know, as drivers, those are the types of things that we enjoy.
Now, we've seen stage racing for a good while now. How does that sort of impact the strategy that you guys have in your box and what you're looking for to grab one of those stages but ultimately be looking at the big picture for the complete race?
Yeah, you know, I think stage racing has been a complete success, you know, everywhere but the road courses. I'd like to see, you know, maybe combining the stages or, you know, a single stage at the road courses, because I believe it takes a little bit of the strategy out of what makes the road courses unique. I think everywhere else it has been very effective you have to go after stage points early in the race, and you have to do it right off the bat early in the year, because if you don't score stage points and you don't have those bonus points towards the end of the year, you're going to be in trouble. So, it's very important to, to try to score as many points as you can throughout the season, and it's paid off for us big last year when we had some trouble in the playoffs, and we're able to lean back on those regular season points. So this year will be no different. You need to try and score as many stage points as possible right off the bat.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck this weekend in Atlanta, but we want to finish with a little talk about Augusta, where we are here. Of course, we have the Masters coming up in April, and your backyard is a tribute to the 12th hole at Augusta. You actually have a replica that you and your son and your family like to enjoy, and the envy of everyone I know that plays golf and has a backyard or has ever been to Augusta. What's your relationship to Augusta National? How many times have you been, and what was your experience like, and ultimately drove you to replicate the 12th hole? I might have gone the 16th hole, but you went the 12th hole in your backyard.
Yeah, well, for me, we're fortunate to have a great relationship with the folks from Easy Go there in Augusta, and I've been fortunate to play there, and I wouldn't say number 12 was my favorite hole when I got to play, but it was the hole that fit the best in the backyard, and the way that the land laid out, and so for us, our number 12 in the backyard is 50 yards, and we have a tee box from 30 yards. So it's definitely something that we've used a lot. It's synthetic turf, and so Keelan has learned to ride his bike out there. We play a lot of football games out there, so it's a multi-purpose used surface, which won't happen while we're down there on the golf course. So our backyard is a little bit different than number 12 there, but definitely a great time of year. We go every year on Thursday before we head to the race on that particular weekend. It's been something that I've done for the last 7 or 8 years. Berkman's Place is definitely going to spoil you in the way that you watch golf and the things that happen throughout the day, but there's nothing better than leaving my cell phone in the car and just kind of enjoying some golf and seeing some some great golf shots and just to enjoy the game of golf in general.
All right, if you had to pick a foursome, a NASCAR foursome, who might be in your foursome that you're going to play with, and do you have to give anybody shots? Are you the low man when it comes to the NASCAR circuit out there on the course?
Oh no, there's a lot of golfers, and I played. I think that this was the second round of golf that I played this weekend. I played with my good friend Jake Owen, and he's an extremely good golfer, just coming from Pebble Beach. So, I'm way out of whack with my golf swing right now, and he's in tune with his golf swing. So I'm gonna be middle of the road when it comes to golfers in our garage. We've got Elliott Sadler retired, so he was one of the better golfers. Ricky Stenhouse, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. There's a bunch of golfers in the garage, and definitely something that a lot of the drivers enjoy to do.
Well, Kevin, we certainly appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend in Atlanta, and certainly look forward to possibly seeing you here in Augusta come April. We appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks for having me.